All right, everybody, we have a cheap option for a backcountry stove. This is the Zoom Loom. This is an Amazon buy. This is about $120 compared to some of the other backcountry stoves out there. They can be anywhere from $350 to $500. This was $120. And this comes in a cool little case. They say it's about 3.5 pounds. I would say it's fairly close to that, but where they could have saved on weight that I can see, well, with this one it comes with a set of gloves for the stove, and this is the main door here. I think this is the only spot where they could have conserved on a few ounces, is that there's a glass here and it's a hinge, so it actually opens up. So a lot of the let's say Seek or Argali, Go Hunt, they're like a sliding door, so it just kind of slides open and slides closed. So I mean, 3.5 pounds, get a cool door, still made out of the same material. It's still very lightweight. I mean, it's coming in at 3.5 pounds, and there's some stuff that I probably won't need. Like the gloves here, I will have my own gloves that I'll have on me anyways, my hunting gloves, just putting together the stove. But once it's pretty much burned in, and that's kind of what we're gonna do today, we're gonna set it all up, do a quick burn in, get the pipe all set. Once that's all done, might not need the gloves. So here's the pipe here. It's not very sharp. The edges are kind of rolled. Something that you'll see with a lot of these backcountry stoves is that they are not extremely sharp, depending on the material, also depending on the company. But these are rolled edges. They are not sharp at all. So let's get started. All right, everybody. So this is kind of happening real time. I've never set this up before, so let's see. This is the top. You can see right here, this actually is going to go on right there, just like that. Something like this. Has a little baffle here. It's pretty cool. Open and close. Pretty nice. The legs. This right here is for the stovepipe. These are the rings. This is what's going to actually help everything stay together. But let's find the bottom. Oh, what's really nice too is that there's actually little grooves here that you can see that the plates actually slide into. So there's really no guessing on how that all goes together, which is nice. I think there's another stove out there, the Go Hunt. It's pretty much the same design except for the front door, and also this right here. This actually needs little screws to screw in. Those are probably somewhere here in this packaging somewhere, maybe. But these are most likely the sides. This looks like the bottom. Let's go ahead and get all this stuff out and get this thing together. No, didn't even need to do that. Start ripping it apart and didn't even need to rip it apart. What's nice too is that this is actually, the carrying case is really small. I already threw it into my pack. It'll go into my pack pretty nicely. So right here we have the front and the rear. Now I've never put this together before, so bear with me if this takes me a second. Let's start with the sides. Oh, lucky guess. And then these have like, do this without it falling over. Right through here, these are where the legs are gonna go through. So these little channels are pretty cool. Let's close that back up. Now, with me putting this all together, I'm going to use this in the backcountry here in 2025. I'm always looking for a cheaper kind of version of something. Number one, I don't have all the money out there to spend on some expensive stuff all the time, so sometimes I try to find different options. Number one thing you want to do though is make sure that this is your stove pipe. You want this in the back. So when you do set this up, make sure that is the opposite of the door there. You want that in the back. And then this goes right here. Here are the screws right here. Yep. Gonna open up this. This is where the legs are. The rings for the stovepipe. And these little screws here, I'll get these out and show you guys here in a second. When you're playing with these little deals though, make sure you kind of have somewhere to put them and not just, you know, in the grass or in the rocks or wherever you're going to be camping at, because you might lose them. So we're going to go ahead and just dump this bag out right here, right in the case. Boom. There we go. Alright, so first I'm going to get these 3 little screws here. What's nice with these is that you can screw them down by hand, and if you really want to get them tight, if you got, you know, a quarter or something in your pocket when you're out in the backcountry, or if you actually have a little toolkit, you can go ahead and screw those in really good. I don't know, it was being a little bit of a pain in the butt. Didn't want to screw in there. There we go. Perfect, now that's in there nice and tight. Alright, so once you get all of this together like this, you're going to want to kind of flip it over. I did just got to mow my lawn, so it does have some grass all over it, but that's alright, we'll be careful. There we go, there's one leg. There's 2. Get all 4 legs on here. Hopefully everything just slides through real nice. There we go. Now I backed out all these wing nuts just because I didn't know how it was going to line up. Because you just want to make sure everything kind of lines up really well. Now the wing nuts can also go to a whole nother area here in the back. So on this one back here, so there's this one and this one. So if you have a little bit of a difficult area and need to shorten up your legs or make your legs longer, then you can do that. Pretty cool. Is this thing gonna go through or what? There we go. Tighten these up just a little bit. I can flip this over. Now you want to hold everything kind of together because what's going to keep this pretty much all together on these bad boys right here. And these are gonna make sure that the legs don't come falling out of there. Screw those bad boys on there. And then that's when you can really tighten down the wing nuts, and it'll keep it from sliding up and down basically. I mean, it's fairly easy to put together with all the slots and everything. That's not bad at all. It's actually really nice. This one, looking a little cat and wampus here. There we go. Just let these kind of slide down and tighten them up. And then next is going to be the stovepipe. So right now I'm just tightening up the little wing nuts on the bottom. But you guys don't really need to see that. So let's cut this and we'll get right next to the next thing up will be the stovepipe. All right, now that we got the stove all put together right there, we are going to roll out the pipe. Take this off for now. So this is actually going to go on the bottom of the pipe. This is what goes right here to where it'll stay on. And then also the rings. And I have the rings right here. So once we get this rolled out, we're gonna slide the rings on. This is gonna go on the bottom, and then it's gonna go on there. And then we're gonna get to cutting this wood and doing a little burn. So let's get this thing rolled out. Let's use some of this wood. Once we get this thing all rolled out here, so this is about a 6-foot pipe. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to roll this. We're gonna get the rings on. We're gonna try to get the rings kind of in the middle and then start spreading them out as we come down, and then make sure we get this back on here. So I'm gonna actually back this out a lot. There we go. So we want it to be able to go onto here so that it's gonna hold the pipe. We're gonna put it here, and then we're gonna tighten it on once we get this thing all rolled out. So when you're rolling this is where the gloves can come in handy. Now I said these are not really necessary, but for safety purposes, let's go ahead and put these bad boys on. Now, I've never done this before. I've never had a backcountry stove before, so I might need some help rolling this thing, but let's see. And once it's all kind of like burned in, it will take its shape a lot easier. But see how it wants to roll back up. We might just flip this thing over to where it doesn't want to do that. Because the last thing you want to do is put a bunch of creases in it. There we go. Now it might not want to roll up on itself. And then what we're going to try to do is just start rolling this thing. Since it's kind of wanting to roll, let's try to roll it like this. This is definitely a 2-person job. So maybe for the initial burn, since I am not a pro at this, might need some assistance, but let's give it an attempt. Just kind of working it slow. I guess what's nice about these gloves is I kind of slide back and forth without slicing my hand open, just in case. Like I said though, these corners are pretty, so I kind of got this started down here. I'm gonna go ahead and take these rings, start to put them on. And then I think as it starts going up, it'll kind of help roll this thing. There we go. This is where I kind of start wondering, is this really going to work? Is with this pipe, because this thing is creasing up like crazy. But that's okay. Hopefully I'll be able to get some of these little spots that are a little bunched up kind of fixed. Now I'm going to take a couple of these and start putting them back. That thing doesn't want to roll. All right, well, for the most part, it's a stovepipe. It's a little crinkled up in spots, but it is what it is. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing down on here. Now what you want to do is make sure that this is actually over this and not sitting inside of it. So we're gonna need to open this up a little bit more. Rolled it a little bit too much. There we go. Let's this in a little bit more. There we go. Now we're just going to tighten this up to the stove. Oh, you know what? I probably should have had this baffle towards the back. That's okay. Let's go ahead and get this correct. So this actually should be in the back. Good thing is that this is very easy to fix. There we go. You want this towards the back, a little bit easier to move. And if you're looking for videos on how to set this up, they are all over YouTube. Give you a little bit of a tutorial, but I also never set one up before, so there's that. But I mean, pretty self-explanatory. All right, now let's get this thing on here. I would recommend backing this thing pretty much all the way out, and then just tightening it up once you get it on, because it's kind of a pain in the butt. Just slide over. There it goes. And then just tighten it on to here. And we are ready to start getting fire going. It does come, this is a 6.5 foot pipe. There we go, nice and tight. Try to get some of these creases out of here. this pipe to really take shape. All right, now we're going to get all the wood cut and get this thing sparked up for a fire. All right, everybody, so we have our pieces cut. What's nice about this cheap option here is that it's actually fairly deep, and it does have like a cooking surface. So if you wanted to use something, you could cook right on top. So go ahead and get some wood in here. Let's actually see if we can get something started first. So it is fairly deep. So you can get some longer pieces of wood in there. Now if you're in the back country, you're gonna be breaking up some sticks and stuff like that. Probably going around camp as you're setting up everything and trying to find some stuff to burn. I'm in my backyard right now, so it makes it a little bit easier. Now in my fire starting kit, I do have some accelerant. Comes in like a little package. You just probably toss it in there. But this little door is pretty cool. It's got glass, got a little slider here so where you can bring in air or shut it off. There we go. It's starting to burn in there. There we go. Now we're going to start to go. Basically what you want to do is get it burning, and then this pipe and everything's going to change different colors. It is titanium, so it's going to change colors, and you're just going to let it burn. And then, I mean, to speed it up, you can kind of let it burn and then flip the whole pipe over, and it'll make it, you know, burn in a little bit quicker. But I'm in no hurry, so we're just gonna let this burn. This is actually burning in really well. It's starting to change colors. Fire is going really, really good. Not too bad. Got the stovepipe going all the way up. Now this is a 6.5 foot stovepipe, and to be honest with you, this is just a cheap way of doing this. But if this doesn't work out, then I'm actually going to be looking at either getting a Seek, an Argali, or a Go Hunt. But for right now, this thing is putting off a massive amount of heat, and for a fraction of the price. But I'm not saying don't get it, you know, one of the expensive ones, but there are options out there, especially someone that just doesn't have the, you know, $350 to $500 to spend on a backcountry stove. Now, if you do, probably go and get it, because if this doesn't work out, then I'm gonna be already into this $400 or $500 anyways. So, but it seems to be doing pretty good now. That fire is going, and it is hot. All right, everybody, catch you on the next one.